Oh, yeah, we are back here at AI Media, African International Media, to talk to you, our lovely viewers and listeners, with your boy, Joe Lipi, still. Yeah, and we will dive into point number 8 of our topic today: how to advance as a musician, as a singer, as a vocalist, as an adult. That's the crucial part of it. That's the gist of a point. Remember, as an adult, because we have a lot of challenges and a lot of schedules, a lot of stuff to do, but we still get life moving on. So we'll kickstart with point number 8. And before we go into number 8, before we end this part 2, I'll go to a keyboard and play something just to show how, as a beginner, you could hold your instrument, the challenges, how to overcome them, and to continue, just as a motivation. We don't need to be shy about what we do as adults. We need to love it and show it to the world eventually, because that's why we do it. If you don't want to show it to the world, do it to yourself and let it give and bring joy to you. We go straight to point number 8. Remember, it is 14 points that we piled for you this evening. We are done with 7 and we have 7 to go. And for this part, we'll be a bit faster. Without wasting no more time, number 8 says balance technique with expression. As a beginner, that might be hard to understand really. What is technique? What is expression? Be be it that you're a singer, be it that you're a vocalist, be it that you're an instrumentalist. We are all lovers of music. What is expression and what is technique? That could be hard to understand, but with time. But it says beginners sometimes obsess over technique only. Remember, the purpose of music is expression. Expression is to do with feelings and emotions. What are you communicating? You could play same notes over and over again, but you could express them in different moods, in a somber mood, in a happy mood. That is expression. You could use the same technique, but the approach to expression can be different. That is a bit advanced and it could be hard to comprehend, but it is always good to have it at a go, to do technique and expression at the same time. The easiest way to to differentiate technique and expression is asking yourself, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to speak? What do I want to portray to the people hearing me as a musician, to those seeing me? That would be expression. And then technique would come with the way you hold your instrument. It is mostly fingers, the fingering and all that. That would be technique. But expression is mostly feeling. Number 9, invest in good guidance. This is crucial and important. Most of the people, okay, I'll read for you first. Even a few lessons with a teacher can prevent bad habits that are hard to unlearn later. Online platforms and apps like Musician and all those YouTube and all that, they are all supplements. The importance of a coach or a teacher, they accelerate your journey like a personal trainer for music. Most people don't want to get teachers or trainers, but it is crucial. Like it says, to unlearn the bad habits as a musician. How do I hold the keys? Which finger holds what finger? I mean, at the end of the day, you can play how you want it, but avoiding bad habits, when you're passing information to the next generation, if you get someone to teach, it's better to teach them good habits, you know? Just like if you talk about food, you don't want people to, let me first fix my bag. I mean, we're talking about food, but You know, you don't want to come outdoors with dirty hands and directly without washing your hands, you delve into a pizza and start biting it. No, that doesn't work. You know, you can do it. It's your body, it's your stomach. But you don't want to teach that to your young ones, to the next generation, because you never know what happens. The microbes, the bacteria, and all that, they might catch disease and fall sick. And those are all expenses, you know. At least you will tell them, you know what, before you eat food, you wash hands. Even though you have cutlery, you have a fork and a knife, if it falls in the ground, you ought to put it in a machine or to wash it first and then use it later when it's ready or dry. Or you get a replacement and keep that away. Same thing with music. We want to begin with good habits as soon as possible from the word go. And then we don't need to unlearn what we learned already in order to learn the good habits in music. So doing it at right away or at a go is important as beginners. And you know, as adults, it's always challenging to learn, but if we never lose the hope, we will get through this. Point number next. What's the number as my viewer and listener? That's yours now. But for me, it says number 10. All right. Develop listening skills. You know, one day I listened to a certain orator and they said, do you know why you have two ears and a single mouth? Okay. I listened even further to get to know what he was about to say next. Simple, as you might tell also, as of course what you're thinking about, to listen much more than how we speak. We have two ears to listen more than what we say or what we speak. The same with music. It's no difference. Actually listening or actively listening to music, notice rhythm, phrasing, breathing, instrumentation. Try to play or sing along with recordings. The ear is often more important than fingers or voice. Music is heard first. I read that again. Actively listen to music, notice rhythm, phrasing, breathing, instrumentation. The one, try to play or sing along with recordings for the vocalists. The ear to all is more important than the fingers or voice. Music is heard first. And on record, actually. On this, I say music is heard first because more people play by ear than those who play by sight. It's not all that can read music. And as an adult, reading notes will be even much more challenging. But at least listening should be the first step because we can learn by ear faster, or it can come even much naturally if we combine hearing or listening with our instruments than reading, because that's another step in life, reading music. So listening is important and crucial. Number 11. Overcome performance anxiety. Overcome performance anxiety. Don't focus much on who is listening to what I'm playing, who's hearing what I'm playing, who's seeing what I'm doing. Oh, I'm doing a lot of mistakes, and you begin to panic, you know. Just start by doing it for yourself. Grow, get better, day in, day out, every day. That helps a lot. Do it for yourself, and then when you feel confident enough, you can spread out your wings and do it to people, to congregations, and a lot, and huge numbers later. But first start by doing it to yourself. When you feel confident enough, then you can continue. All right. Start by performing for yourself, then a close friend, then a small group. Then you move to performing, the less intimidating it becomes. Adults often carry fear of judgment, but people usually admire anyone brave enough to share their music. So don't be afraid of judgment. Be it good or negative criticism, it helps us grow and become better. Number 12, stay inspired. Explore different genres and culture of music to keep things fresh. Attend live performances, they can reignite motivation. Create a playlist of songs you dream of performing one day and revisit it often. If, for instance, you listen to the professionals, Marcus Miller, Richard Bonner, they once played the Bill Jean with their beloved producer Quincy Jones. It was incredible. If you listen to such live performances, see how they approach the way of playing, how they do their music. It refreshes your soul, rather, your mind, your spirit. It reignites. And you catch the fire also to do the same. So listening to such live performances is much recommended as a beginner. It helps a lot. This takes us to number 13. Accept plateaus. What does that mean? Progress is non-linear. Progress is non-linear. Something linear is like this. It is a flat line. It doesn't change. Sometimes you'll feel stuck as a beginner. This is normal and often a sign your brain is consolidating skills. And the tip to this is change your routine slightly. New songs, new scales, or a different practice method. For instance, if you play the C scale to all instruments, you could feel at a certain time that it becomes monotonous in a way, but you can mix it up with, okay, I'm playing a C major scale. Okay, the next day as a beginner, I'll play a C harmonic minor scale, a C melodic minor scale, a C natural minor scale. You see, you break the pattern of the monotony and it becomes interesting to you as you're practicing, because playing, let's say if you're playing for 15 minutes daily, as we talked about, and you play the C scale, a C scale, playing it as a beginner will take you like 45 seconds. Da, 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 da. If that is C, in that way, my pitch isn't to the C scale, but let's say only that. You play a C scale, it takes like 45 minutes. And if you play that for 10 minutes, it gets boring. So you can spice it up and play in minor, a natural minor, a melodic minor, harmonic minor, a pentatonic, but still doing the C scale. And when you feel confident with that, and you feel that your speed is running faster than the metronome, then you can take the next scale. And that leads us to another point, which says, now this is an important. It came last for a reason. Number 14, it says this: celebrate your milestones. Adults often downplay achievements, but it is important to celebrate when you play your first full song, hit a high note with confidence as a singer, perform for friends, or record a video. Rewarding yourself will make the journey joyful and not a grind. Celebrate your achievements as an adult, As adults, we go through a lot, and sometimes it could feel normal, but celebrating achievements is good. Even feeling, yes, rather making, celebrating birthdays is incredible. I mean, celebrating doesn't really mean that you have to put out big parties and all that. As adults, we might fail to have that time. But at least you get a juice, a glass of water, and drink it and say, "Oh God, I'm +1 today, and I'm grateful." Celebrating achievements as adults and as musicians, especially for beginners, is amazing and does the difference. And with that, the family of the Timeless Tempo podcast here at AI Media, TV, and Radio, I'll take you to an acoustic, keyboard acoustic, and play something simple, how to play it as a beginner and how to continue so that we might get